It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
12:02 on a game day. We finally get it. 4-point game between the Sharks and the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Nielson, Cass, and Gage are with you, boys. What's going on? How you doing? Are you excited for the game?
Oh,
I'm nervous. Dusty.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm nervous. Have some faith, boys. Tonight's the night they get on track, right?
Well, but here's the thing: is even let's say they win in convincing fashion, more than convincing fashion. Let's say they just absolutely dominate, full 60-minute domination, win, 8-1. Do you feel any better?
Nope.
So that's why. Because they could win, and if they win, let's say they win 2-1. Do you feel
that's
worse?
That's not good. That's not good. You don't feel good about a 2-1 win.
So am I hopeful? Yeah, sure. I'm hopeful, but I'm also nervous.
Yeah, like that 8-1, that makes me feel better. 2-1, I'm very worried, even with the win. But it's like a big me going up and beating up a little kid. You're supposed to be able to do it. If the little kid beats you up, then there's something wrong, right? Like this, just it doesn't make. They have to show that they're much better team tonight, Dusty. That's all there is to it. They should dominate for 60 minutes, and just walk away with this win, and finally just maybe cool all the worry of the city of Edmonton with a win, and then move on to the next one.
Well, it's interesting because, if they come out and start the way they did against Vancouver, they should have this game under control within 15 minutes. Like, they should be up 3-0 against the San Jose Sharks within 15 minutes. I know San Jose's coming off a win, but this team has been absolutely horrendous the entire season. Now, the Oilers really haven't been much better. So, they have to dictate the pace of this hockey game tonight, and that should be enough to get it done. But you make an interesting point, because even the title of this tonight, season turnaround tonight. Well, even if they win big, everybody's just going to say it's the Sharks. I think deep down inside, they'll probably just think, it was the Sharks. So, Cass, can you really label tonight as a turnaround no matter how they win, either way?
No, and that's what I was saying. It's I will be happy if they win 8-1 or they win big. I will be happy if they dominate. It will make for a much more joyful post-game show with Tommy Gazzola on the Oil Stream post-game show. Yeah. Sponsored by Damon Bunting tonight. But it doesn't alleviate everything because it is the Sharks. It's like if they came out and if this was the Las Vegas Golden Knights or the Los Angeles Kings, and you came out and you dominated them for 60 minutes straight, then you'd be like, okay, here we go. But it just doesn't have quite the same oomph because it's San Jose and they've just been so horrible all year.
They have been bad all year long. I'd be interested. Well, let's ask the fans. If you're listening right now on the TuneIn app, tell your friends. It's super easy to listen to Edmonton Sports Talk on the TuneIn app or at edmontonsportstalk.com, or you're watching right now and in the nasty chat. Where would you come out on the Oilers winning a tight one tonight? Where would everybody we'll be playing goal songs tomorrow? If they win a big one, and then that really doesn't matter until you see what they do against Seattle. If they can put together back-to-back games, then sure, then maybe this was a game that you viewed as things kind of got going around the other way. But yeah, I'm very interested to see. So let's ask you right now, 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. What if they win 3-1 with an empty netter or something along those lines? Jenna says 1-0 win. Skinner scores on an epic bounce, which would be something. That would be good. Coach C says you have to put up at least 6 and no cheesy goals against tonight. And then Awanik is in there, and he says, what about a solid all-around defensively sound 2-0 win? So 30 shots for, 17 against. You win a game 2-0 when we say this team probably isn't built to win games that way. Would that, Gage, would that change your opinion if they win in a really defensively sound, tight victory?
Oh, yeah, an eye test. Very difficult to get the puck through,
giving up
and
nothing,
shooting
right?
lanes.
Yeah.
Just make it so make this game the first game that a team actually has to do something special to create a good scoring chance, right? That's what I'd like to see, instead of the Oilers' mistakes leading to great chances for the other team. Like, no odd man rushes, just, I mean, for lack of a better term, I guess, a real boring, solid road win. I mean, a win's a win, I think, at this point, too, a little bit. Like, if they can just get the W and get 2 points and get the hell out of there, that might be the best thing for this team overall.
All right, let's get into this. Tony Brar, obviously with Oilers TV, really good golfer, really good ball hockey player. Tony is on the road with the team, and 2 minutes ago tweeted out that Stuart Skinner is indeed in the starters net tonight. So we had this interesting discussion. It's been an interesting debate around the city. Talked about it with Lou Gazdick on the Nielsen show today. He said he would go with Skinner because by sending Campbell down, you're basically saying this is Stuart Skinner's team. So why would you not go with him in this situation? And then there's the other side of it where you can say, yeah, but you're trying to shock the group by sending Jack Campbell down. And if you roll out Stuart Skinner tonight, you're just starting the exact same group that you started the last game with, in which you ended up losing. So putting Pickard in would have been more of a shock to the group. At least according to Tony's tweet. This hasn't been confirmed by the coach, obviously, yet. But looks like Stuart Skinner's going to start tonight. Gage, you're our goalie, buddy. What do you think of this decision?
It's you can go one or two ways, Dusty. I think maybe by starting Skinner, it is showing him that, look, you're the guy now. We need you to step up and start showing what you did last year wasn't an anomaly. Get back to that all-star form. But I did. That's why I said I think I liked the fact of starting Calvin Pickard, just because of the shock value of everyone going, oh, I gotta pull up my socks here and get things going. Like, that's what I think this whole shock was. It wasn't, I mean, firing the coach is a huge shock, but I think this is like firing the coach light by sending Jack Campbell to the minors, right? I would have liked to have seen Pickard in there. It was a perfect opportunity going up against the Sharks, I think.
Yeah, I'm starting Skinner.
You are,
I'm starting Skinner. The sending down, I'll disagree with Gager here. I think the sending down is the big shock factor of Jack Campbell. And I don't know how much extra shock factor you get with Pickard starting. Maybe a tiny little bit, but to me, I'm still going with Skinner. As you said, you've effectively told Skinner that the net is his, that he is the starter moving forward. So get him in there. You need the 2 points. You're going to go with your best chance to win. And in my opinion, that's still Stuart Skinner over top of Pickard. So to me, you're doing the right thing by starting Skinner, and I'm not surprised in this slightest. I would have been surprised the other way if it would have been Pickard starting.
You would have been surprised by that, eh?
Yeah, I would have been surprised.
Go ahead, Gager.
Yep.
How could he be surprised? He's the captain of the Starship Enterprise. Like, you go with the
Well, as we know, the Oilers phasers have been set to stun all season long.
I'll ask you guys, like, it's not like, oh, Campbell was sent down, now they're going to send me down type of thing for a lot of these guys. So how much of a shock?
But maybe it is though.
But with
because it's like, well, no one's safe, or people are less safe, or they're willing to do something. They're willing to change something, right? So I don't know.
I don't know who else are they like? Who all of a sudden is now? Oh man, I'm afraid for my job. You don't even have a guy.
Guys.
You don't even have a younger. But you don't even have a guy sitting there as a healthy scratch that can come in. You know, like, and if you make any sort of reasonable money, you're not a threat because they don't have the room to do anything there. So. I don't know. To me, it's like this is the one thing they could have done because they knew nobody were going to claim him. They can send him down. I don't know. I don't know if it sends as much of a shock through everybody as we think it does. I don't know. Here's where I think it sends a shock, Dusty, is he's closer with the older guys than the younger guys. And it's like an emotional, like because of our play, we have our friend, our teammate, that just got sent down. That isn't here anymore because of how we got to play. That to me that's the emotional
That's the big emotional shock from it.
So do they play better defense on the rush because Jack Campbell's down in the minors now?
I hope so.
I just don't know. I mean, why would you not do that just to win games in the first
you're
place?
You're trying to wake them up. Like I get it, Dusty. I agree with you. That's where we talked about it at length. Like what do you even do? Like not even knowing what the answers are anymore with how poorly they've played.
Oh boy, let's hope Skinner doesn't get pulled. Jeez.
Oh, dude, like, you have to stop with these dark ideas. Like,
I'm sorry.
If
I'm
Skinner
sick.
gets, if Skinner gets, yeah. So I figure it's just quickly on your sickness here. Did you get sick because of Cass's horrible Loki takes? Is that what it was? It made you sick. Like I feel like that's what it is.
I'm not saying it was the reason, but it was definitely contributed to it. So.
Okay, so they start Skinner tonight. They should. I'm putting it in asterisks or quotations. They should beat the San Jose Sharks tonight. Gager, is this a Skinner? Is this a little Skinner run here now, or do you actually play Pickard to see if he's better than Campbell?
Well, no, you run with Skinner. I think if this is the route you're going, go with it. It's a friendly enough schedule that he can really get a few games under his belt in a row, barring any setbacks, right? But I'd like to see him get back to where he was last year, because really he was not even close in my mind to where he was. It was I said at the beginning of the year I thought he would struggle a little bit and try to do a little bit too much. Maybe there's times, Dusty, as a goalie, sometimes it's, if you know you're the guy, you know you're going in the next night, you can kind of, in the back of your mind, you're not thinking about that win and stay in mindset. This lack of, some goalies perform better when there's not pressure from another guy to play games. I don't think that's the case with Skinner, but in a sense, maybe you can relax a little bit. Okay, playing this game, let's get on a roll, and he can kind of break it down into segments, obviously, but no, he's the guy moving forward.
Cash, you pretty confident in a Skinner run here? Like he had worse numbers than Jack Campbell. Like his save percentage.
I'm not worried about Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
I worry about the rest of the team. I mean, I think he still, and I know Campbell being preseason, just watching, and I know the numbers are what they are. I still like even the high danger scoring chances, save percentage is like the saves that he hasn't made. Most of them have been unsavable pucks, and I'm not worried about Stuart Skinner from a goaltending standpoint. I just still worry about the team giving up grade A's on the back door. That to me is like where it worries me. I think you're going to be fine running him out there, fine giving him more of the games. We have seen in the past what he's capable of. You just need the rest of the team on board, which is what you're trying to do with the shock value of sending Campbell down.
Gager, you were worried about Skinner coming into the year. You kind of just laid out your thoughts on them going to him on a run here, but I mean, it just comes down to the team in front of him, or how much of this responsibility does he need to take?
Oh, a lot. I mean, he's got to prove that, to gain that confidence back, I think, with the defensive play. Like, the whole team's gripping the stick a little tight in the defensive zone. They have to have trust in their goalie. If there is a mistake, that he's there to cover up for it. We don't want huge mistakes, but that whole relationship between D and goalie has to be a little bit better, because once we see the goalies struggle, we see defensemen trying to do too much, start running around, and when they lose a guy, they're trying to get back in a certain way that just doesn't work. So if he can just provide a little bit more stability back there, not allow that second goal, he can't let any weak ones through, because it's a fragile group, Dusty, right now. Like, if they get things rolling like they did in Vancouver, and then all of a sudden the other team comes back with two quick ones and a couple maybe that you want back, that's going to really deflate them. So just has to be solid, stop the ones he's supposed to, hopefully maybe take one or two away.
What if this doesn't work? Like, so the Jack Campbell, let's just say let's say Jack Campbell going down. Like, we've seen them so far this season. They've not looked like a good hockey team. We'll get to the Kings and Golden Knights last night in a second as we work our way through two guys and a goalie here. Cass, is the next thing a trade? Because I know a couple guys in town had linked them to having some interest in Jordan Binnington. So if you run with Skinner for 3 or 4 games and you go 1-3 and his save percentage is still just pumping along at 850 or 860, is that what has to happen, like, next immediately? Like, you have to find somebody else? Or is this just the bed you've made at that point, and maybe Campbell plays well in the American League and you bring him back up, or Pickard gets a few starts? Like, what do you think's next from this goaltending situation if it just doesn't start to work?
I think you've made your bed because you don't have the cap space. And with your team record right now, any trade you make, goaltending or otherwise, you're going to get absolutely just raked over the coals.
Yeah.
Because it's out of desperation, and teams know that. Like, you're just a trade has to make your team better. You know, could you try to target Binnington? Sure, but what's it going to cost? And are you really actually making your team any better? And is it going to make that much of a difference? Because, you know, Binnington's not saving backdoor tap-ins. Nobody is. Like, let's go to that Vinny Desharnais, you know, putting the puck in your own net goal. Binnington's not stopping that. He's not. Nobody is. Like, most of the goals that have been scored is like, no, the goalies aren't stopping that. It doesn't matter who it is. And so you have to say, okay, we have to be making our group better. Any trade has to make our group better. And I just, you know, because if you're bringing in Binnington, you're going to have to be moving Campbell's salary out. And if you're doing that, to move his salary out, it's going to cost you.
You're also bringing back like an extra year's salary in Binnington. And, you know, Binnington wasn't great last year for something. Like, even if Binnington was available, there has to be a reason he's available. And maybe it's like St. Louis doesn't want that contract anymore either. So I don't
think he makes you better.
You don't think so, Gager? I was going to say,
no.
do you think they should go pursue a guy like Binnington anyway?
Not for the extra year and extra mil. I don't think it moves the needle enough.
No, it doesn't.
Not even close. Although Cam Talbot looked really good.
Cam Talbot did look really good last night. odds are he's not available in that spot. All right, here's what we're looking at as far as the lines go tonight. Nothing different from the morning skate today. Once again, Tony had these. McDavid between McLeod and Hyman. Draisaitl between Fogle and Holloway. The Nuge between Gagne and Kane. And then Hamlin with Ryan and Raphael Lavoie. I mean, depending on how this game script goes tonight, be interesting to see how much we see of that group. CC Nurse, Ekholm Bouchard, Kulak, and Desharnais. Cass, I'll start with you on this one, buddy. What do you think of Ryan McLeod being up there with McDavid and Zach Hyman?
You're trying to find something that works. I mean, you're hoping the speed brings something, and you're hoping they're able to start generating something 5-on-5. I mean, maybe you're trying to kickstart McLeod here, get him some offense, maybe get him an assist, maybe get him a goal, try to get something to get his season turned around from a production standpoint. So, I mean, really, at this point, you're open to anything. Really, you're going to be trying everything because nothing has been working. So I'm fine with it. McLeod hasn't earned his way into that position. The team has sucked its way into that position where you're having to try it from a look. So I mean, hopefully it gets him going. Hopefully there's some chemistry there and something clicks. And you're hoping it's the speed really that helps. You're hoping having a player like Hyman still on that line enables to, he's digging the pucks out because we know McLeod's not a guy that does that frequently. And you're hoping that they can generate off the rush with the speed of McDavid and McLeod. That's what you're hoping for.
Gage, do you think it happens? I love how Cass said he did not earn this spot. They sucked their way into this spot.
Yeah, I have to agree with Cass. Hopefully he can get things going. Again, just the lack of physical play from him is what worries me the most. The flying.
That's never coming, Gager. That's never coming. You can't expect that anymore, man. Like,
but what worries me is we'll get to it, but watching last night's game, Dusty, and seeing how the depth of both those teams, like it's scary, and how physical that game was in the first like 15 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, there was no room out there, no odd man situations. Everyone was tight. Like the way there was one point where Doughty had the puck at the blue line, I think, and was bobbling it. And you saw two other Kings, not even like.
I know the
no
play you're talking
hesitancy.
about. I know the play you're talking about.
Yeah, no hesitancy at all. Two guys started bolting back on the defensive side on the Kings, just in case. Like that was their mindset was defense first, because this could turn into like a 2-on-0, and they shut it down. Right.
It was ultra aggressive. It was like playoff hockey.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Right. Like from both teams, like just ultra aggressive where as you guys said, there's no room.
None.
Like no room for errors, no room for that. And if there are going to be errors, like you had people busting their butt to make sure that they covered for you. Like, was there even, did you guys see, I'm trying to think. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a chunk of it.
I watched a decent little amount of it.
Yeah. Did you guys see any odd man rushes?
No,
No, the closest I think the closest I saw when I was watching, I can't remember who it was, but he kind of cut to the net, but he had a guy on his back still, and it wasn't like a clear cut. It was a pretty good scoring chance, but it was just he wasn't in all alone.
It wasn't like a clear.
No, I can't remember who it was. You guys probably
rush.
would have been watching that time as well. Talbot made a nice save on it, but yeah, man. I can't even remember the team last year being able to play at that level. And they did, right? Because they beat the Kings, and then they gave Vegas a pretty good run. And I watched Vegas and the Kings last night, and I go, how are the Oilers going to play with these guys this year? You know, it's weird.
I was shocked because that's the first time I've kind of actually watched both those teams, and that was a fantastic game. Oilers are a long ways away from that level right now. Which is
just the intensity isn't there.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like those two were trying. That was a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, it was
of two teams battling for Pacific Division dominance.
Yeah,
right.
Knowing it was. I mean, the teams knowing that one play could be the difference.
Yeah,
and going out of their way to make sure they weren't the team that made the mistake, the extra mistake.
It was crazy.
You know, there was even a play in that Vancouver game. Against the Oilers, when I think the shot must have come from the point. Like there were 4 Canucks right on top of their goalie. You remember that play? And they were all trying to block. I know that's not ideal, but I was just like, man, look at the Canucks. Like the entire group is dedicated to keeping that puck out of the net. You know what I mean? Like you just don't get that sense with this team right now. This text is in from Yeeps. It's 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hey, Dusty, they'll go down 1-0 5 minutes into the first, and Leon and Connor will be back together, and all these line combinations won't matter anyway. But we're still going to dive through it. We talked about McLeod, McDavid, and Hyman. Drysaddle's between Fogle and Holloway, which I think could be a really aggressive line with the way Fogle and Holloway have played so far this year. Could cause some issues. We know what we're going to get from the Nuge, Gagne, and Kane line, but we'll discuss that in a second. What do you guys think of Holloway being here with Draisaitl and then Fogle on the right side, Cass? What do you make of that group?
Well, kind of the same thing to me. I mean, you have some good speed on that, and Fogel's been a guy that's been the most consistent, and you're hoping again that this is a group that can try to find ways to generate off the rush and try to find ways to generate in zone, because it's a line that has potential to do that. Now you have a guy in Holloway that hasn't found the back of the net that you need to, and so you're giving another young player an opportunity. Again, does Fogle deserve it? I think so. Based on his season,
he's been consistently working.
He's been consistently working and generating chances, and sometimes generating them by himself. So I have zero problem with that. Holloway, I don't want to say I have a problem with him being there, but I mean, he's another guy that hasn't necessarily earned a look there, but this is where you are as a team right now. So again, I mean, who knows how long these line combinations last? Is it something that could work? Of course it could, but it's going to take all those guys playing, and it's going to take all of them moving their feet. And I guess you're hoping with Fogle there and with putting Fogle with Draisaitl that maybe his work ethic and his commitment level that he's been playing with kind of, I don't want to say pulls those other two guys along, but brings them up. and raises their level of intensity and their level of play to actually result in a line that's able to do something.
Yeah. Hey, it's arguably that Fogel's been probably the best forward throughout the whole year, like most consistent.
I think that's fair. Like from a work ethic, it sucks for Fogel because he you'd love him to produce a little bit more because he generates some looks for himself, even off, like, he creates off the rush, which, not a lot of guys do outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, right? So, but Gager, you've been hesitant to even see or to say that, Holloway's got it. Like, it's going to click there for him at some point. What are your thoughts on him so far, and how big of opportunity is this for him to maybe finally sort of hit a stride, and hopefully you would think if they're going to line him up with Draisaitl, he'll actually play some decent minutes?
See, I know a lot of people are saying, well, Holloway needs a chance to play with skilled players. He's been a skilled player in the past, but like I said before, I haven't seen anything that shows me that he's a dynamic offensive player that can consistently put up points. I don't know what type of, I don't think Dylan Holloway knows what type of player he needs to be successful in the NHL yet. I think he's a good player. He's fast. He's physical. But I look at him and he reminds me more of I don't know if it's a great comparison, but Kurt Maltby I played with him with the Oilers, and he was a really dynamic offensive player in junior, but had to figure out how to be successful at the NHL. Still had that scoring ability, but was more of a checking shutdown type of guy. Right now, that's how I feel Dylan Holloway is. He's fast, aggressive. I haven't seen anything that makes me think he's really offensive, but he does have the ability to create disruption within the other team and use his speed to his advantage and the ability to play good, sound defensive hockey. I just haven't seen anything that shows that he's offensive yet. I think in a third line, bottom six type of role is where he should be, just with the skill set that I've seen so far.
Cass, just to add on Holloway, and I'm not asking this as a slight on him or anything, is he where he should be in the National Hockey League right now? Like, do you see him right now and go 100% a National Hockey League player? This is right where he should be.
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I don't know
like
if I have
right
a great
I don't know
if I have a great take on it. No. I'm just talking like does he look like a National Hockey League player night in and night out?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, no, I think he looks like an NHL player, but the question will be is how much offensive upside is there, and is he a guy that can transition to the top six, or is he going to be a guy that needs to be, as Gager described, that third line, grind it out a little bit, be disruptive, be really good on the checking side, and occasionally chip in offensively. Is he going to be that guy? Because Gager, you're right. We haven't seen massive offensive flashes from him, like where we're just like, whoa, like he's really taking control of it in the offensive zone, and whoa, he's really creating, and whoa, what great vision he's got. We haven't seen that. And is there potential for that to develop more? Sure there is. He's still a young player, but I think absolutely he's an NHL player and a regular NHL player. Jury's still out on where exactly he slides in on a long-term basis.
Yeah, as it should be for a young guy, right? Like, you're still trying to figure out. He's trying to figure out what he's going to be. The team's going to need to figure out what they think he should be or what he's capable of, right? So that's a long process.
Yeah, and Jenna Tills in with a comment on the nasty chat of I think is a reasonable and fair comment. Is Holloway reminds me of how Cogliano couldn't figure out his role for a bit there, where he had to learn and develop that a little bit. Similar player, good skater, fast, disruptive on the forecheck. So there's actually, I think, a decent comparison there to, could he turn into an Andrew Cogliano type of player who can chip in offensively but still play just a really good depth piece or depth style of game. That could be a potential role outcome, let's call it, for Dylan Holloway.
In the nasty chat, Lick Fury, as opposed to Nick Fury, so he's come to the right place with us Marvel nerds over here. I miss the days when we all complained about how our goalies let in the first goal on the first shot. all the time. It seemed like a simpler time. The Koskinen couldn't stop the first shot. These guys couldn't stop the first shot, but yeah.
Just tell Holloway it's still preseason and you have nothing to worry about.
Get that buzz out there, right? That could be something you could look at as well. 780-218-9999. Big G text in and says, hey, guys, Spec says Skinner starts tonight. Well, we talked about it earlier. Tony said Skinner was in the starter's net, so we've already dove into the Skinner getting the start conversation. We're working our way through these line combinations tonight against San Jose. And then we'll take a look at these awful San Jose Sharks who are coming in off of a win. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins stays with Sam Gagner and Evander Kane. This was a group that was kind of put together mid-game at one point and had some success there with Sam Gagner finding the back of the net. Gager, what have you thought of Sam so far? And what do you think of this line? Because they seem to be a little ornery at times, when they get into that offensive zone. I mean, I think that's a nice way to describe them.
Medulla oblongata. Yeah.
Well, Sam's a bit of a pest, right? He's got that grumpy old guy on the porch kind of thing. That's get off my grass. I love it. And you know what you have with Evander Kane, and sometimes we've seen what Nuge does when his anger meter goes into the red and what he can do. So I like this line. I think they play, for the most part, they play the right way, especially in the offensive zone, right? I love how Sam, if he doesn't have anything, he'll put the puck on net, and at least in a place where there could be a second chance opportunity. It's not always looking for the best thing; it's the thing that's available to him. And so you have other guys with the Nuge and Kane that can beat a goalie from distance with their shots too. So for the most part, they're responsible defensively. I think they create havoc. I've really enjoyed watching that line, especially when Sam scores. That's great.
Here's my Sam Gagner assessment or observation summed up in one play. Is there was a play last game where he tried to block a shot with his face. Like he slid face first to try to block a shot. I don't know if there's anyone else in the team that would have done that. So that line I think is ornery with Kane and Gagner on it, and I like it. I like it. I do like that line. They've been one of the few lines. It's been even if they're not scoring, they're at least gritty out there and they're doing something. Like Kane has been physical. He, since the Calgary game, has turned his game around and has been a positive. Gagner has been a positive since he's been back. And the Nuge, you'd like to see a little bit more offense from him, but a piece that can be complementary for those other two guys down the middle.
Man, was it the game? I can't remember if it was the Oilers game versus the Canucks, or when I was watching the Kings and Golden Knights last night. But there was a guy who went out to the point and was a little late getting there and basically dove with his face to try to, I can't remember, was it the Canucks? Was it Connor Garland? Or was it in that Kings game last night? But I was just like, wow, look at that effort. It's like the guy in a charity event that's going down to block shots at the Alzheimer's event or something. I was like, wow, look at this. This is pretty impressive. But in the National Hockey League, to see that guy lay out like that, I was like, wow. I don't know if we'd see a lot of that, but you mentioned it with Sam Gagner, and what he's been able to do for this group so far since coming in. He's made a pretty positive impact in a short amount of time. I don't know, how much are you expecting to see of Raphael Lavoie, Hamblin, and Derek Ryan? I mean, if they have this game in full control, I expect that line gets quite a bit of time in the second and third period, right? Why not?
Well, yeah, you hope it starts with full team effort. I think that's important. Get everyone feeling good about themselves. There's no reason why you look at these lines that you should be able to get everyone involved. I hope they get to a point where you can get their minutes up, maybe get ahead by a few and see some more ice time and give them a little bit more confidence. But yeah, it's young guys. I'd like to see them play a little bit more. I'm still worried about the foot speed of Lavoie.
I was going to say, let's talk about Lavoie a little bit here. What have you guys thought of him so far?
Yeah, he's being physical and stuff, and you can see how he thinks that, quick plays, he's getting himself open to let go that shot, which I like, but I still need to see a little bit more, Dusty, to make have a really good opinion on
Cass, what do you thought? What do you thought of the kid so far?
Yeah, he's been okay. He's been okay, trying to be physical, trying to be a big body, trying to get to the front of the net, which are things that he has to do. I'm with Gager, though. It's still been too small of a window with too few minutes played to get a full picture yet at this point.
He's been around it a little bit. I'll give him credit there. Like he's got some decent looks. He's not afraid to get to the net. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I will get to the Sharks in a second. If you do have any questions, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I wanted to pass along to any lock shoppers or cool bettors that are still here, obviously, on two guys and a goalie. We asked for it during the lock shop today. It was actually one of our Nielsen Show sponsors who texted me and said, can we get this bet tonight? And the bet is this. You can find it at Cool Betting, the exclusives page right now. It's called the Lock Shop Head-to-Head Special. Combined field goals on Thursday Night Football versus San Jose Sharks goals versus the Edmonton Oilers tonight. So they put this together. The combined field goals on Thursday Night Football right now are a minus 270 favorite. San Jose at plus 215. To score more goals than combined field goals in the Panthers and Bears game tonight. I love to have the ability to get props like this made up at Coolbet, boys. We pretty much get whatever we want over there. It's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Exclusives tab. Find it in the exclusives tab over there if you want to get in on that. Let's get to a couple comments in the nasty chat. And like I said, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Sean says, hey, Dusty, do you have an over-under on how many minutes in before Leon and Connor are back together, not including power play? That's from Sean. Like, people are just expecting it. I think it's going to go well tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if the top three lines all have a goal. I won't be surprised if the power play buries a couple. And I will say, though, if it ends up being like 2-0 or 3-0 San Jose at some point, which, I mean, the whole city's going to implode. But if it does, I still wouldn't put McDavid and Draisaitl back together. They weren't doing anything where they were together anyway. I just be like, ride this out. Go get it done in the current line combinations we have set for you. If you have to put those two guys together to beat the San Jose Sharks tonight, you might as well just get relegated to another league. Like, it's just, that can't happen tonight. Like, it just can't.
Don't you think you have to? Like, keep lines together. Like, sometimes if things go wrong during the game and your coach starts like jumbling everything, like, don't you go into the next game? Okay, we gotta, as a line or your line mates, we gotta be responsible. We can't get scored on, or else we're gonna get shuffled around or everything. Like, you're almost waiting for something bad to happen. Wouldn't it be better to keep what you've put at the start of the game, finish the game, just so you're trusting these people to do their jobs? Like Vegas, like they don't touch those things, right?
It can communicate trust. I think that's something, in that it's not like, hey, we make one mistake, everything's going to get ripped apart.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get at times a blender because it's just been so bad. so it's been like how often can you keep throwing the bad stuff out there and hoping that it works, versus trying to gain some consistency in what you're doing with the lines. But I agree with you. I mean, when everyone's rolling, I mean, the feelings are way better. Like when you could roll through lines and everyone's getting an opportunity, everyone's playing, everyone's out there, and you can get into a rhythm from it, and a rhythm with your line mates. I think that can be a valuable thing. I don't think that has been the Oilers' issue, has not been the blender. But ideally, would it be nice to make it through a game with the lines all intact, playing the entirety of the game? Yeah, I think that'd be great. Be great for confidence and great for building.
Yeah, it seems rather ordinary, right? like a lot of teams have the ability to do that, and it probably works out for them. This text is in. I like the text like this. It says, hey, guys, not a hockey question, but how can I hit up Gager to be my financial advisor? Gager, how can people get a hold of you, buddy?
Just k4financial.ca. Hit up the website or DM me straight through Twitter or X or whatever.
It's easy, just like that. Just like that. Send Gage.
Part of the onboarding process is you have to send a picture of your belly button.
Not to our text line. Not to our text line. To Gager's DM. Look at you guys with like onboarding is such a business term. Hey, that's a real nice business term. I don't know if I've ever used onboarding. Do you think there'd be a way for me to use onboarding around here at Edmonton Sports Talk? Yeah, cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When we get because we're always looking for new sponsors.
Yeah.
Companies that need to increase their own business revenue.
Yeah.
And so it's part of the onboarding.
So we
process
onboard
to
them onto
become a
like 2
client.
guys and a goalie or whatever.
Exactly.
That's cool. I like that. Well, if you are a company who's listening and you would like to be onboarded by us, email us business@edmontonsportstalk.com. Business@edmontonsportstalk.com. Jenna is in. It says belly button pics incoming. I do like the idea, Gager, of your DMs just being filled with belly button pictures, as per Cass's request. Yeah,
This will be
jeez.
great. This will be fantastic.
Hey, if it leads to business, you're in. You're in. All right, the San Jose Sharks tonight, boys. They're coming in. Finally got that win. I guess Philly was the first team ever to lose to 2 teams that started the year winless in their first 11 or something like that. It happened a few years back against the Coyotes as well. The Sharks roll this out here. At least this is according to Daily Faceoff. Thomas Hertl, Fabian Zetterlund, William Eklund on the first line. Mikael Granlund in the middle of that second line with Anthony Duclair and Kevin Labanc. Nico Sturm with Zadina and Hoffman. Ryan Carpenter with Luke Kunin and Giovanni Smith. And then on the back end, Mario Ferraro with Kalen Addison, who they just acquired. Mark-Edward Vlasic with Kyle Burrows. And Jan Ruda with Nikita Ohotyuk, I think. I'm not 100% sure how to say that one. When I read this group of line combinations to you, do you instantly think one win team, by far the worst team in the National Hockey League, or is the roster not as bad as the one win would lead you to believe?
I still think weak team, really. There's no Jumbo, there's no Pavelski, there's no Marlowe. It's not the San Jose Sharks of yesteryear, as it were. So, one of the weakest rosters in the NHL. There's still some decent players. They can still beat you if you're not playing. Like, if you don't play well, they're still going to beat you because there's still a lot of decent or good hockey players on that team. But it's not like they're a team that just screams elite level skill and high potency to me at this point, which is, I think heading into it, we're all surprised and shocked at where the Edmonton Oilers are in the standings. I don't think anyone's that surprised and shocked at where the San Jose Sharks are. Again, not a roster world beaters there.
Like, if we come in tomorrow morning on our show, or you guys on the post-game show tonight with Tommy, if we come in and people are texting in and being like, the Oilers need to trade for Kyle Burrows, I'm going to be like, oh no, like, what has happened? That can't be the case. If the Oilers forward group cannot beat the hell out of that blue line that I just read to you, then what are we even doing here? Like, this is why I think they're going to run with this thing tonight. The only way they don't convincingly win this hockey game tonight is if they don't show up, or they don't give a damn. Like, any sort of significant effort with the talent advantage on that side of the ice, it's got to lead to a convincing victory. You just can't lose to that group. You can't.
It's got to be simplified too, Dusty. Like, when I know we shouldn't be talking about prior seasons and stuff, but the Oilers were always great. But when I look back to the Kings playoff series, how they dominated down low with just simple hard work, short zone play, quick passing, and never opting out of an opportunity to shoot the puck. Like, everything, just get it towards the net. And I think I said this at the beginning of the year, as long as they match the other team's work ethic and execution, the skill level of the Oilers is more than enough to beat these Sharks. So, but if they don't match that, work ethic and their intensity and their ability to make plays, it doesn't matter who you play against, you're not going to beat them.
Richard says, great takes, everyone. Let's all pull together for a win tonight and our cool bets to land, which is nice as well. I put together a massive one today. It's like Draisaitl 2 points, McDavid goal, Nuge point, Bouchard point, Oilers to win by 2 or more, and over 1.5 power plays in this game. So let's talk about the power plays for a second, because if the power play's going tonight, I hit all those other numbers. Like point for Nuge, point for Bouchard, Draisaitl with a couple. McDavid has to get a goal again at some point. I can't believe I'm sitting here using the McDavid is due, and that's why I'm betting on him to score a goal tonight. That seems insane. But the San Jose Sharks have the 27th worst power play in the NHL. Now, the Oilers have the 31st. So I don't know if that, or the penalty kill. Sorry, the Sharks have the 27th worst penalty kill. The Oilers have the 30th worst penalty kill. Cass, what are you not seeing? Now, PP2's got a couple of goals lately, but what are you not seeing from that top unit power play that hopefully, for our cool better's sake tonight, gets figured out?
Execution. Botched passes. Missed one-timers, missing the net.
Is that so that lack of focus, basically, in the power play? Like,
I mean, call it a lack of focus, call it what you will, but just inability to execute how they normally do, inability to efficiently move the puck like they normally do. So whether it's focus, whether it's mentality, whether it's frustration, whether it's stress, whether it's anything, they haven't been able to execute well.
Gager, who's that guy? Is that like that? I guess it's on the whole group, but so much of that power play runs through McDavid and Draisaitl, right?
Yeah, and I find watching the power play, they're trying to make everything a backdoor tap in one time. It's got to be pretty. I think most of their success has come from getting pucks to the net and then retrieving pucks, getting second chance opportunities. That's when they're most dangerous. It doesn't have to be pretty tonight. Just has to. They're not always going to score on that perfect play over to Leon or look for something better. Time to just get pucks and overwhelm them with shots. They're kind of like they did against Vancouver, right? But some have to go in.
All right, I'll ask this. I still don't think it happens because they're going to win tonight. But if they lose tonight to the San Jose Sharks, you guys, is somebody fired tomorrow? And I don't want to say it's somebody because I don't want to just put it on Jay Woodcroft. But you don't think nothing? Like, oh man, I'm telling you, coming in tomorrow morning and talking about what would it be then at that point? A 2-9-1 start, losing to the worst team. But actually, at that point, they would be the worst team in the National Hockey League if they lose to San Jose tonight. I don't know, Gage, man. I feel like that might have to cost somebody their job.
I think if this keeps. I think they're going to keep going until game 20. If nothing's turned around by then, that's when it's done. That's when it's that we'll see some major changes. Because really, Dusty, who are they going to bring in? What's going to be there? How are they going to fix things? Because this is an on-ice problem. This isn't a coaching problem or anything like that. This is an effort and execution problem that the Oilers have right now. I don't think I don't care who the coach coming in. It's the guys on the ice that have to fix this thing.
Cass,
yeah, I think you do. I think just for the one shock factor clearly wasn't enough. If you don't see a game tonight. And I think you do, and it's probably Jay Woodcroft, and I don't think it's necessarily would be his fault. I don't think, but it's the easiest next thing to do, and I mean, what else are you gonna do, guys? If that happens, what else are you gonna do?
I threw this theory out on our show, I think a couple of days ago, maybe on Monday. On the case that Jay Woodcroft wouldn't be fired if they lose tonight. And that is like Jeff Jackson has come in and people have thought Jeff Jackson has a very, very analytical mind when it comes to hockey. And they go out and they bring in Parcotti who's helping in the analytical department. Cass, you're probably going to hate this. You're going to hate what I'm going to say here next. But it was, I guess it was on Monday because I was driving down to the airport on Friday and I was listening to Stoff's show in the afternoon, future Nielsen show guest, Bob Stoffer. And he was laying out how they're top 2 in Corsi, they're top 2 in Fenwick. And if this is an organization that now believes even heavier in those numbers like Corsi and Fenwick, I believe the message would almost be no, we're still really dominating the possession of the games, so we're just going to ride it out, and eventually the PDO will come back to where it's supposed to be, and they'll start winning hockey games again. To me, that's why Woodcroft doesn't get let go here, because some of the underlying numbers actually look pretty good, and the organization likely cares more about that now.
Yeah, I see. I think they care more about your. I just about cussed. You're 2-8-1.
Can you imagine if
whatever
Cass
and
scored?
2-1, like,
Oh my God!
Analytics. This is where analytics goes out the window, right? Like, so if their analytics are so good, tell me why they've only won 2 games this year.
Well, because
like,
when they
if Corsi's so important,
it's because they can't play without the puck. Like when they have the puck, they can really hammer it down on the net. But they cannot play without the puck, especially on the rush. So that would be I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess
you
at
just
that
made
point,
me throw up in my mouth.
I'm sorry, Cass.
Dusty.
I mean, the fact that I almost made you swear, I feel awful.
I'm feeling sick now.
I feel awful. I don't even want you to think about swearing. And the fact that I did that to you with my comment, it really hurts me. It really hurts me. I don't know.
At least we got Loki. Loki starts at 6:30, right?
Yeah.
Or Pacific time, 7:30.
You know what? It's funny.
So we can watch Loki
because
and then watch
my wife and kids are gone. They're off to for November break down to Cranbrook, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go watch like Thursday Night Football with Eric at the casino, and even Eric today. I come out, he goes, don't come down to the casino. He goes, your wife is gone. He's like, you can just chill with like no responsibility for a night. Order a donaire, watch Loki, watch the hockey game, and have a night. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is the play here tonight. Like, it's just. Did you hear this morning what happened in my house? Were you guys listening this?
Yeah.
You heard. Hey, Gage.
I didn't hear that part.
Cass.
Yeah.
We got to bring it up on two guys. Like, so on our Smash Hit news segment, I got beef presented by Acme Meats.
Great segment.
Yeah, it's a fun segment. And today was the biggest beef of all time that I'll probably never get over. But I recently bought a new pickup truck, a nice black truck from Park Mazda. I've always wanted one since I first watched Back to the Future as a child. I've been driving this Explorer that needed like $11,000 worth of work. It's just been banged up. Finally have a nice vehicle. So yesterday afternoon, I'm doing some Zooms with the BC Lions, prepping for the West Final. And I come up, and the kids are kind of like quiet after. I'm like, what's up? What's going on? Haven't seen you yet. And Tammy's crying, and I'm like, I thought somebody died. I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened? Tell me what happened. Who died? And then she goes, I made a mistake. And I instantly said to her, I said, did you back into the truck? And I go out, and she was backing her 2009, for lack of a better term, earmuff kids, shitbox RAV4. And she backed out of the garage and smacked into the front right corner of my brand new truck. Her back left side we're done with this vehicle anyway. It's completely mangled. And there's a little bit of red paint on my, like, it's not too bad. There's no like cracks. The lights aren't broken. I wiped off a bunch of the scuffs. So like if you were to go look at it right now, you wouldn't really be able to tell that anything happened. But like a week in to a brand new vehicle, and she backs into it in our own driveway, dude.
That sucks. That's tough. That's tough. As my wife would probably tell me, it's important to remember that it's just stuff.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks. That's brutal. That's brutal.
Or the scene from Slapshot when the bus driver's hitting the bus with a sledgehammer. What are you doing? I'm making it look mean.
Yeah. Well, people claim that she was not happy that I got a new vehicle and she didn't. So she backed into it, totaled her RAV, and it kind of nicked up the truck a bit. But I thought I handled it well. Like I went outside, and I was kind of just in disbelief. Like, how do we back into our own vehicle? Like, I was like, how's this even possible? Yeah. Then I went back in, and she was still crying, so I gave her a hug, and I said, look, mistakes happen. And then I took Marshall to power skating. The whole time driving to power skating, I'm like, mistakes happen. But how do you not look in the rearview mirror as you're pulling through our own driveway, But, yeah, I mean, you can barely tell. And it ends up being a funny story that we can joke about forever. And now a piece of that horrible RAV4 lives on forever on the paint of the new truck. So I guess you got that going for you as well. But, man.
Dusty, we're similar tonight. my wife and daughter are in Vancouver for a dance competition.
And your boy's working out probably, right?
My room. You mean my roommate?
Your roommate.
Yeah, he's around here somewhere. But yeah, it's chilling with Loki and a hockey game.
Like that's a really good night, right? Like for us, obviously, Gage.
I might send you the watch party link for Loki, so we can.
I could do that. I can't,
guys. I can't. I'll have the pregame show. So be hanging out with Tommy.
Are you sure you don't want that link, Cass? Gage, I've never done that. If you want to do that tonight, I'm open to that because I'm just gonna be sitting around. Yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting around the basement. So yeah, we'll send it so you feel like you're included, Cass.
Yeah, just because then even though I say no, I feel happy. I'm like they still care about me, even though I don't like the show. But
man, I saw somebody in the nasty chat there say don't bother watching Marvels, which I do want to watch because I watched them all. But I guess somebody said there's a post-credit scene that'll just really piss you off. So I don't know. I might just pop into Marvels just to catch the post-credit scene at a movie theater one day. Just be like, okay, give it to me. Let's see it. Let's see what happens here. All right, so, Cash, you'll learn pre and post tonight with Tommy. 7 o'clock pregame right here at edmontonsportstalk.com. Postgame is going to be a late one. Postgame after. Especially, I mean, it's great every time, but after a loss, it's just worth going in and watching the chat. Like, it's just worth watching the chat.
Fired up.
It's incredible.
It gets fired
and you can throw it on your TV. Like it's actually nice that we do this because you can then watch a post-game show on the TV because, Sportsnet doesn't run a post-game show and Chad's post-game show is on the radio and Reed does a great job with it. But if you want to just continue on TV, just fire up the YouTube channel on your TV and watch the post-game tonight. What will you guys be talking about? Cass, you might actually come through. Give us your ridiculously bold prediction from every game.
No, I'm gonna go 4-1 Oilers tonight.
What?
Soften it.
You predicted 8-1 for every game for 3 years.
I know.
Wow.
I know, but something has to change, Dusty. Something has to change this season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with a realistic 4-1 Oilers win, and I hope that's what we're talking about post game, and we can talk about some positive things, some good things that they have done. Let's talk about good things that all the line combinations did, things they can work on, but things that make us excited about the future and hopeful for the future. That would be nice. That's what I want. That's what my dream is. That's my wish.
Gager, what do you got?
6-4 Sharks, empty netter.
Oh,
you bastard. Like, if that's the case, you have to make a special pop-on appearance with Cass and Tommy tonight on the post game. If that happens,
you better be showing up, making a call like that.
I don't want to say it, but I haven't seen anything that shows me these guys are going to do anything but not win a hockey game on the road.
7-3 Oilers. I'm on a 7-3 Oilers. I'm going to go 7-3 Oilers tonight. Matt in the nasty chat from EM Utility Locating says, my goal for the Oilers is to give us a night that is finally easy to pick. The steady Eddie of the evening. Player of the game for EM Utility Locating tomorrow morning on the morning after show. Enjoy the game tonight, everybody. You guys enjoy the game. Gager, let me know when you send that link. I'll be ready to go tonight. Time my donaire for about 7:30. What time did you say it becomes available? What time?
7:30 tonight. Okay. It's 6:30 Pacific.
All right, perfect. Can't wait. Cass will spoil it for you via text message, all right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
See you guys later.
See you later, bye.